Hello and welcome to this new video on the ISO 9001 2026. So, as you all know, recently ISO published a draft of the new ISO 9001 standard, and this draft is currently being reviewed by experts. And since we are part of this pool of experts around the world that has been involved with the evaluation of the draft, we can already share with you these changes, the changes of this new standard, and we can already start to plan what to do regarding the needed changes for our quality systems. So, small introduction, just to be sure we are all on the same side. So ISO 9001, what is it? Is currently the most widely implemented quality standard. Its strong points are that it is simple, flexible, applicable to both services and products. Why is it updated? Why will it be soon updated? Is because the last update was in 2015. So this is why it was called ISO 9001 2015. And it was needed to be updated because in the meantime many things changed in this environment, and for example, all the other ISO standards regarding management systems have been updated. So this one needed to be updated in order to be consistent with the others. And okay, overall, what changed? We can anticipate that there are minor changes, only minor changes, nothing revolutionary. And these minor changes are in all the clauses of the standard. So clause 4, clause 5, clause 6, clause 7, all the operative clauses, all the clauses that are not just introductory clauses, all these clauses received an update. But also, on top of this, we have a substantial change. And this substantial change is that also a very useful annex has been added. And this annex, you will see, it's basically a guide to how to implement your quality system. So what should we do? Technically, there is no need to change until the publication of the official document is done in 2026. But also consider this, a grace period is also usually granted. So it's not that you have to already change your system now, because even after it will be published, you will be granted a couple of years to adapt your system before the change is actually checked by the auditors. But if you want, and if you're an expert and you want to already have an idea of the upcoming changes, then this video is for you. And we can already anticipate to you that all the changes can be implemented in your system by doing 10 actions. There are 10 specific actions that you should do in order to make your system compliant to this new standard. So, terms and definitions. In the terms and definitions clause, what was there before? Before there was just a link to the ISO 9001. There was only a link to the ISO 9000 standard, which is the one about terms and definitions. So the standard said for the terms and definitions, just open the ISO 9000 standard and check the terms and definitions that are in that standard. Now, what changed? All the definitions have been directly included in this standard. So this change eliminates the need to consult ISO 9000 for definitions. Why this change? This change is aimed at enhancing the standard self-sufficiency. So you don't have to buy multiple standards, you just buy the ISO 9001 standard and it will guide you on exactly what to do. So what needs to be done? Technically nothing, because all these definitions remain mostly unchanged from ISO 9000. So there are no new definitions, and so there is no need for you to change your system. Clause 4. Context of the organization. So what was there before in clause 4? In clause 4 we have a description of what your company should do in order to take into account the context of your organization. And in the past there was, in the ISO 9001 2015 edition, there was no explicit mention of internal and external issues. But what changed? In this new version we have two new subclauses. In subclause 4.1 it is written, the organization shall determine whether climate change is a relevant issue. And also another addition, in clause 4.2 it is written, relevant interested parties can have requirements related to climate change. So what does it mean? It means that organizations must now assess if climate change is relevant to them or not. Is it something new introduced from the new draft of 2026? Actually, no. Actually, these two changes already happened when ISO published the addendum to ISO 2015. So what do you need to do in order to be compliant with this change? Well, if you have already adapted your system due to the 2024 climate change addendum, then there is no further action needed for you. But if you have not adapted yet your system to the addendum, then you have 3 actions that are needed to be done. Action 1 is to update the internal and external issues list. So the first activity is to update the list of external and internal issues. You should add a part to your list that describes whether your company would be impacted by the extreme climate events or not, for example. And you should state clearly if climate change is a relevant issue for your company or not. Then, action 2. You should update your list of interested parties. For each of your interested parties, your system should include a brief description of how they are impacted by the issues that you identified. You should also describe how your interested parties are impacted by climate change. Then, action 3. You should mention climate change in the management review. So what do we mean? In your next management review, you should include the statement about whether or not you believe climate change is a relevant issue for your company or not. And if yes, the topic should be mentioned throughout the meeting. Clause 5. Leadership. What was there before? In clause 5.1.1, there was previously no reference to ethical behavior. What changed? What changed is that there are 2 new lines. In clause 5.1.1, it is written, top management shall demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to the quality management system by promoting quality culture and ethical behavior. And in clause 5.2.1, it is written, top management shall establish a quality policy that takes into account the context of the organization and supports its strategic decision. So, what needs to be done? 2 actions. One action is what we call action 4, update the quality policy. Include a statement on how leadership promotes ethical behavior. Mention how leadership considers the context of the organization when planning the company's strategy. And then action 5, plan projects about ethical behavior. Annual objectives should ideally feature a project focused on promoting ethical behavior. Example, training initiatives. Conduct training sessions for employees on the company's values. Or another example, internal audits. You could implement internal audits to assess understanding and application of company values by employees. Clause 6. Planning. What was there before? So the planning clause focuses on how the company identifies risks and opportunities and planning actions accordingly. Ideally, each planned action aims at reducing or managing identifying risk and capitalize on opportunities. So what change? The changes that make already existing requirements more explicit. Clause 6.1.2 Measures for dealing with risks. The following phrase has been added. The organization shall determine, analyze, and evaluate risks that can have an undesirable effect on its ability to continually and consistently provide conforming products and services and enhance customer satisfaction. Then another addition is clause 6.1.3 Actions to address opportunities. The organization shall determine, analyze, and evaluate opportunities that can enhance customer satisfaction and product conformity. It shall plan actions to address these opportunities, including integrating and implementing actions into quality management processes and evaluating the effectiveness of these actions. And finally, clause 6.2.1 New requirements for quality objectives. Objectives should also be updated as appropriate and be relevant to conformity of products and services and to enhancements of customer satisfaction. The result of these additions is action 6, map opportunities. You should ensure that your organization has a document that lists not only risks but also opportunities. This was also needed before, but now this revision of the standard makes it even more explicit that opportunities need to be mapped. Clause 7. Support. What was there before? Chapter 7.3 defines what the workers of the company and other interested parties should be aware of. What changed? In 7.3 Awareness, the following part has been added. The organization shall ensure that persons doing work under the organization's control are aware of organizational quality culture and ethical behavior. So this change consists in adding a new topic that the workers should be aware of. So what needs to be done? Action 7. Update the quality policy. You could mention in your quality policy a precise statement about ensuring awareness to organizational quality culture and ethical behavior. But please note that this action is by far not mandatory. Clause 8. Operation. 8.2.1 Customer communication. So what was there before? Clause 8.2.1 stated communication with customers shall include establishing specific requirements for contingency actions when relevant. What changed? An update on clause 8.2.1. This update states communication with customers shall include information related to contingency actions, including where relevant to any disruption in the products or services provided. So this change makes the requirement even more explicit. What needs to be done? Likely nothing to change. Clause 8. Operation. Subclause 8.3.1. Design and development of products and services. What was there before? The clause stated the organization shall establish, implement, and maintain design and development process that is appropriate to ensure the subsequent provision of products and services. What changed? A note has been added. The note states the design and development process can include cycles of review, verification, validation, and feedback, allowing for flexibility throughout the design and development phases. So what needs to be done? Action 8. Update the design and development process. If your company engages in the design and development, consider updating the process and corresponding procedure to incorporate this option for flexibility. Clause 8. Operation. Subclause 8.3.3. Design and development inputs. What was there before? This clause is basically a list of all the needed inputs to the design and development process. And what changed? An extra note has been added. The note states design and development inputs are not always fully defined or known initially. Instead, they can evolve as the design progresses through repeated cycles of development and validation. So what needs to be done? Nothing. This note is simply an extra clarification. Clause 8 Operation. Subclause 8.5.1 Control and production and service provision. So, what was there before? This clause explained the ways through which the organization should ensure the quality of its products and services. What changed? An extra note has been added. The note states to ensure that the defined requirements are met, organizations can choose to engage in product and service verification or process validation activities, or both as appropriate. So, what needs to be done? Nothing. This note simply makes it more explicit the option of using process validation to control service provision, but this option already existed before. 9. Performance evaluation. What was there before? Clause 9.3.2 lists all the inputs of the management review. So what changed? An input has been added for the management review. Changes in needs and expectations of interested parties that are relevant to the quality management system. So action 9 is adding a topic to the management review. Your next management review should also discuss the changes related to your interested parties. You could consider also updating the management review procedure. Finally, 10. Improvement. Clarification on nonconformities. What was there before? Clause 10.2.1 stated what needs to be done in case of a nonconformity. What changed? This note has been added. Customer complaints can be a source of nonconformities. So what needs to be done? Nothing. This addition is just a clarification. Annexes. So, what happened is an extensive revision of Annex A. Annex A has been rewritten to provide practical guidance and detailed examples for applying the new standard effectively. So the new approach mirrors ISO 45001, offering valuable insight to help organizations implement the standard efficiently. And Annex B has been removed. So we recommend a new action, Action 10. This action is to read Annex A. We heavily suggest to read the whole Annex A, both regarding the new requirement and regarding the existing one. So finally, conclusion. We can conclude that in case this draft passes, there will be only minor changes. Then we want to remind you that, remember, this is still a draft. So this is not the new revision. This new revision needs to be confirmed first. In case this draft will pass, then yes, we can conclude that the ISO 9001 will undergo very minor changes, but now it is still too early to state that. A big changes is addition of the Annex A, as we just said, because it gives further guidance. And for the last time, we suggest you to wait for the official publishing before implementing any change. Thank you for watching, and in case you need further clarifications, please contact on the email that you see in the description.